It was the decade that gave us blockbusters, high school movies and new Coke. Fluffy hair became cool and fluffy movies became cooler. The gritty pictures of the 70s were out and sassy comedies were in. Many people look at the 80s as superficial, which many of its movies certainly are. But there are some wonderful gems out there worth watching. Here are 20 you should check out. American blockbusters were getting repetitive in the 80s. We love John Hughes, but there are only so many high school detentions we can take. Meanwhile, the folks in Japan were churning out original productions like mochi cakes. They came in delectable bunches, starting with this post-apocalyptic vision that introduced the world to anime. 25 iconic TV shows that were made into awful movies. More anime, this time from the genre's most prolific director. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind is peak Miyazaki, with incredible visuals, world building and a girl who saves the world from harm's way. All that for the price of one ticket. A vampire movie with bite and abs. This high school flick has a darker edge than most. It follows the same beats as a New Kid in Town comedy, but the bullies are out for blood this time. The 20 most clever TV shows of all time. 2 madmen enter the Amazon jungle. One is named Fitzcarraldo, a lunatic who tries to build an opera house in the middle of nowhere. The other is Werner Herzog, who actually entered the Amazon jungle to film this blockbuster. The result is like watching a mad scientist mix elements that shouldn't work but somehow do. A western about noodle soup? Yes please. Tampopo is one of the strangest mixtures in all of cinema, but then again, some of the strangest mixtures make for some of the finest foods. These 25 TV characters are the epitome of cool. Do you love movies? Then you won't be able to resist Cinema Paradiso, a love letter to cinema seen through the eyes of the director's surrogate. Giuseppe, a kid who works at a movie house, makes for one of the art form's most heartwarming characters. A dude in a trench coat stands outside his crush's house with a boombox over his head, playing a song about love. It's a moment that could only happen in the 80s. In the pantheon of high school movies, Say Anything ranks near the top, despite most people ranking it down their list. 25 beloved actors who were one-hit wonders. Once Upon a Time, there weren't a million movies starting with Once Upon a Time. Just 2 films from Sergio Leone, Once Upon a Time in the West and Once Upon a Time in America. The latter was the director's swan song, a sweeping epic about New York immigrants that unfolds like a hazy daydream. The least 80s movie of the 80s. Come and See is a movie that dares you to watch its eye-searing, bone-crunching horrors without blinking. At a time when most films were billed as uplifting, this journey into the trenches of war is anything but. It's a brutal and piercing masterpiece that leaves you shell-shocked. 20 films that would never get the green light today. Politicians are easy targets these days, since both sides of the political spectrum seem to be annoyed at their candidates. But they weren't as easy to target in the 80s, when John Carpenter made his science fiction commentary about the monsters that live among us, politicians. They live may be cheesy, but it's cheesy fun with a message. Vampire movies were huge in the 80s, serving as a countercultural answer to the upbeat high school films of their time. Horror flicks like Lost Boys and Near Dark literally feasted off these tropes, offering different takes on a formulaic genre. When a teenager joins a group of bloodsuckers, he not only devours humans, but gets out of homework as well. One and done, 20 iconic films we never want to watch again. Many of the titles on this list serve as a countercultural answer to trends of their time. Everyone knows The Breakfast Club, but not everyone knows The Lost Boys. Everyone knows The Sandlot, but not everyone knows Stand By Me. Another story of kids playing in summer, this one sees a group of friends search for a corpse instead of a lost toy. There are lots of options out there for couples with fertility problems, from donors to adoptions. But stealing a baby isn't one of them. Unless of course you want to be chased across the state by police officers, friends and strangers, similar to the couple at the center of this Coen Brothers comedy. It's really fun to watch, but probably no fun to experience. Twice as Nice, the most iconic double albums ever recorded. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really sure how to describe Repo Man. It's a comedy with an attitude, an action movie with almost no action and a movie about people stealing cars that never feels dangerous or tense. Yet it works. I guess you'll have to see it for yourself. Those Aren't Pillows. It's one of the most quoted comedies of all time that's still underrated. More young people should check out this road trip classic. The 20 best bad movies of all time. Dude, high school movies aren't all dumb comedies about teenagers getting stoned. Some of them are smart comedies about teenagers getting stoned. Like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, for example. Cameron Crowe went undercover to a high school to write the script, while director Amy Heckerling adapts it for authenticity. Yeah, that's peak Robert De Niro in a comedy. You didn't see the picture wrong. De Niro anchors this comedy about a bounty hunter driving a criminal across the country while authorities try to track them down. It's a funny, action-packed ride with an emotional ending. Offbeat, the worst films starring musicians. Like The Town, Paris, Texas isn't exactly a fun place to visit. It's a dry, depressing drama about a man who's forgotten his purpose. But as a work of art, it's a stunning piece of magical realism. Samuel Fuller is one of cinema's great provocateurs, always prioritizing shocks over commercial success. The Big Red One may not have made a ton of money, but it made a ton of fans thanks to its strange mix of raunchy comedy, anti-war message and cool action. There's never been another war movie like this one. 20 iconic TV shows with notable feuds among the cast. Forgotten? By whom? Everyone knows Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's one of the greatest movies of all time, yet lots of people treat it like another 80s comedy. It's not remembered as a work of art so much as a cultural touchstone, which it certainly is. But it's a wonderful mix of Hughesian charm, 80s editing and French New Wave style that practically leaps off the screen. When Ferris ditches school, every activity he does is accompanied by boundless energy. Did you enjoy this slideshow?